Let's get this started.
And we are live with another episode of BS Busters. And before we go any further, I want the panelists to introduce themselves, starting with the lady. Let the lady go first. So go ahead, introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. This is Julia Eli Moonstar, welcoming you to the BS Busters. And hopefully we'll have something to do with Bethesda, if I got it right.
And this is Piggy Dog from Video Game Facts, and I'm also here when we get to the Smash stuff. Because boy, this week was
a mess.
Yeah. In regards to Smash.
Well, that's what we do around here. We clean it up.
But before
we just call it out. Look, it's not my job to clean up the bullshit. My job is just to say, hey, there's a big pile of bullshit right there. Don't step in it. That's all we do here. We just call it out. We point it out to people. We tell them how big the pile of bullshit is, how stinky it is. Maybe give people hints on how to avoid it and not step into it. But that's it. Because if you don't know enough not to step in a big pile of bullshit, that's on you.
Well, somebody has to mess with it, but that's not our thing, apparently.
No, we just tell you it's there, which is good enough, really. I mean, letting you know that there's a pile of bullshit is better than just letting you step in it, But before we go any further, I guess it's time to get to the first topic, which is Bethesda's being called out for the pathetic state of Fallout 76.
First the cardboard.
I called it.
And now the game server having to crash whenever you send out 3 nukes at the same time.
Well, actually, it's worse than that because this is a Bethesda game. Like, you could understand too much stuff going on in an open world game because it just can't handle it. But from what I've heard, the game will crash regardless, even if it's not multiple nukes hitting the same area. Like, it'll just crash because Bethesda doesn't know how to make a well-coded game. Like, all their games are very sloppily coded. So,
I was going to say, this is something I know that you enjoy about Bethesda games, because sooner or later somebody's going to patch that beep up.
Well, yes, I enjoy the fact that like, people will patch a Bethesda game and make it better. But I mean, even games that have a modding community that's not making the game better via fixing what should have been fixed in the first place, modding makes a lot of games better because it adds extra content that would normally not be there. Like, for example, I like Shadowrun Returns, like all the entire trilogy of games: Shadowrun Returns Dragonfall, Shadowrun Returns Hong Kong. Because of the modding community, like, people have basically taken a game that's based off a tabletop RPG game that's kind of a derivative of D&D, and basically they create their own modules with their own stories and stuff like that. That's modding. I mean, that adds value to what you bought.
I was going to say, I don't think modding's going to save this.
Well, I mean, that's one of the problems with Fallout 76 is that there is no modding community.
And if you look at
not even the modding community could save that game.
If you look at its Metacritic score, it has the same score as Sonic 06, which tells you.
Goddamn. Well, I mean, like, the people who weren't expecting this game to be a broken piece of shit, the only thing I can tell you is, why are you not surprised that this game is a broken piece of shit? Because Bethesda doesn't make games that are well put together.
It's like saying that this free game shouldn't have microtransactions.
They don't do that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if there exists a modding community that fixes Sonic 06's problems the same way how there's no modding community to fix Fallout 76.
If there is, I'd be surprised.
Same here.
So I can't say I'm surprised. I legitimately cannot go up to someone and tell them, man, I can't believe that the game, like, I don't even think that would have fixed that game.
Okay, I'm gonna look back at the nominees to see if Fallout 76 was nominated for any of the categories.
If
it probably got nominated, but that's not gonna.
If it was, I'm
not
gonna
make it any better.
spam. Yeah. Especially if it's near anything close to something important.
All right, I'm at the categories page.
And where is Fallout 76 land?
Best family game, no. Best strategy, no. Sports racing game, no. Multiplayer, it's not on best multiplayer or student game debut.
Well, to be fair, no one can legitimately say that Fallout 76 is a good game.
Nope. Fallout 76 isn't nominated for any of these categories.
Like, you can't legitimately say it's a good game.
And that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, it's not like Bethesda has put in the time to make it into a good game. Because they released the game was broken, and Bethesda was like... But Bethesda for years has gotten away with that. Bethesda for years has released broken games, and no one ever said anything. You know?
Mm-hmm. And somehow they got away with it.
Well, people made excuses for it. I'm not going to say they got away with it. People made excuses for their broken ass games.
Where's the Bethesda Defense Force now?
Well, people made excuses for Bethesda games because, like, there were caveats. It's like, okay, this game's kind of broken, but it has a decent story, or it's an open world that's fun to hang out in. But the problem with Fallout 76 is that it's not even really fun.
Ouch.
Not even fun if if the server keeps crashing.
No, I mean the base game, even when it's not crashing, is not fun. Like, it's not a fun game. Like, from what I've heard, it's like mostly really boring.
And the final boss of the game's campaign is just a Skyrim dragon.
A Skyrim dragon.
Well, the thing is that the game doesn't really end.
Because it's an MMO.
Yeah. So even the in-game content is kind of bullshit, you know?
Which kind of sucks if you're a fan of some games.
Yeah. So basically, it kind of negates. But, I mean, like, I don't know why people are surprised, because Bethesda has always kind of...
half-reared their game.
Basically, yeah.
Thought so.
Anything else we want to ramble on about Bethesda's downfall with Fallout 76?
Well, I mean, if you want to add anything before we move on to the next topic.
I got nothing.
If anything, at least it didn't do a crash and burn like other games, which I'm thinking about, which would likely be Lawbreakers. I'm on the topic right now. Sorry.
It's not Lawbreakers bad. Like the problem with Lawbreakers wasn't that it was a bad game. The problem with Lawbreakers was that it was entering a competitive field where there's, like, at the time there was like 6 other battle royale games out. Okay, you have the titans of battle royale game, which is Overwatch. Then you had Paladins. Then you had Fortnite. Then you had Warframe. Then you had what was that other one that kind of crashed and
Underground?
burned? PUBG. And the sixth one, I'm going to add this in here because it has a lot of the qualities of a battle royale game. Splatoon. So that's fucking 6 battle royale games. Well, I mean, when I say it has,
call you out on Splatoon because it's not a all team. It's not every player for themselves kind of game.
No, but a lot of the battle royale games that, like, if you play on certain maps and certain types of matches, are very like Splatoon, where you're on a team trying to accomplish an objective, and you accomplish these objectives. It helps the entire team win. Like Splatoon does
make
that
the joke
too.
that I was going to say Splatoon's more like Dota than the game that you mentioned and the other games.
I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's like these games are very like reminiscent of stuff's going on and you got to do it. And I mean, that doesn't bother me, but I just wish people would be like, okay, like Lawbreakers wasn't a bad game. It's just it was in a very crowded field. Right, because there was like 5 other games that were scratching that particular itch. It's kind of like when someone says we're gonna make a let's see, what's a really big, we're gonna make an open world action RPG. It's like everything these days is an open world action RPG. If you use the most,
if I remember right, the biggest one is still WoW.
Well, no, WoW is an MMO. When I say open world RPG, I'm thinking like Skyrim or Red Dead Redemption 2, like a game where you have a character, you have characteristics that level up by you doing things. Like a lot of games have these characteristics now. So it's like if another one enters the field, it's basically just a series of, here we go again, basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's basically what happened to Lawbreakers. Lawbreakers within and of itself, however, was not a bad game. It wasn't like, well, this game is mechanically unsound. Bethesda games are broken as hell, but people give it a pass because it can be modded to be in a better state. Like modders do patches to make it play better. Modders do patches to add new content that makes it more enjoyable. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Like, I mean, there's certain games I wish that have modders doing shit to it. Like with Breath of the Wild, like with the Wii U version on PC, they're modding in entirely new characters. That shit's fucking cool. I don't care who you say. That is cool. I wish you could do that on the Switch version, but probably never happened.
Well, with that out of the way, what's next on the menu?
Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard and their need for bullshit.
Oh, their Diablo screw up.
Yeah. So, who wants to tackle that first?
Let's see. We could talk about one of their PR talks. Like, do you even have phones comment when trying to damage control on Diablo Immortal?
How do you screw up a conference that is focused basically on the PC Creators Club by saying do you not have a phone? That just makes me wonder who's the head of the PR company, because they need to be fired. I mean, I got a phone and it doesn't run that well to run that game at all, if anything.
Fair enough. Pinky?
All I gotta say is that mobile
Yes.
games have been selling your soul to the mobile games, trying to it's hard to think of what to say about Blizzard's current state. All I gotta say is that trying all I have to say is just how passionate the Blizzard fan base is in terms of their IPs, including Diablo franchise.
Well, I mean, Diablo did kind of start on PC. Like here's the thing, okay? Blizzard is a company. They exist to make money, right?
Right.
So it's disingenuous for people to think, oh, they're just going to completely ignore this platform that can make them money. But it's not really smart of them to antagonize their core fan base, which is PC players, because Blizzard would not exist if PC gamers didn't support them back in the day.
Right.
Like they would not exist as a company. So for them to sit there and be like, well, you know, antagonizing their core fan base, that's a fuck up. I mean, we can all agree on that. That's, you know,
That's face palming.
Like Blizzard Day, which used to be a celebration of shit that was coming to PC. To, you know, it's there for the core fan base. They treated Blizzard Day like it was
a festival.
E3. Like E3 is not for gamers. E3 is for investors and people who own stock in the company. E3 is not for Joe Blow consumer, like the core consumer. It's not for you guys. It's for it's for other people, you know, and people need to understand.
It's for people that put down money.
Yeah, it's for the people who stock your product. It's for Walmart and Toys R Us and Amazon to know what products they'll be able to stock this holiday season coming from you. It's not for Joe Blow consumer. Like, I don't know why people don't get that. Blizzard Day, or when you do like Blizzard Day and the New York Comic Con and Trek Con and stuff like that, all that stuff is for core fans. It's not for like the Godzilla convention that they do in Japan. That's not for I'm an investor in Columbia Pictures who holds the rights to make another Godzilla film. That's not for you. That's for people who are hardcore fans of that. So for you to trot out, we're doing Godzilla the mobile game at the Godzilla convention to the most hardcore fans, that's an insult to your hardcore fans.
Well, we do have G-Fest, which is basically a fan convention for Godzilla.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about. Like when you find people doing stuff like that to their core fan base, that's not a good thing. You know?
Yeah. Even Nintendo was smart enough to not antagonize their hardcore Metroid fan base when they announced Federation Force.
And I enjoyed somebody's video that called those specific crybabies out. Oh, I love that one.
So basically, how Blizzard damage control for Diablo Immortal might not have been the correct decision. Might have not have been the best decision.
I'm not going to go that far. I just don't. I just think that they chose the wrong forum to show that off. Like, that was not a BlizzCon thing to show at BlizzCon.
That would have been an appetizer, and they served it as the main course.
I mean, if they were going to show it at BlizzCon, it should have been something. Okay, first we're going to get this out the way. Yeah, it's a mobile game. You don't need it if you don't want it. That is not something you get for. That's not something you show to your most hardcore fan base. That is stupid.
That's an appetizer or a mini hors d'oeuvre at best.
Basically, yeah. And that's where they fucked up. They fucked up. But this is Blizzard, and ever since they were bought by
Activision,
they've been fucking up royally. So can't say I'm surprised. So anyone have any other thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
Only wondered what does Activision have in their hands already besides Blizzard?
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I just think they got kind of greedy. Actually, I don't know why I say kind of. They got very greedy, and they made it worse with their greediness because they can't control themselves. They're like a crackhead.
What, Sony?
No, Activision.
Oh, yeah.
They got greedy, and they got their hands caught in the cookie jar, and now they're like, you know, I mean, basically, I mean, I'm going to get a little graphic with this, but I think it's very appropriate for the situation, okay? It's like you're with your girlfriend, and you guys are intimate, and without any warning, you try to stick it in her butt.
Ugh.
Now,
let it go on.
If you're going to do something like that, there's like a lot of prep work that's got to be done. You got to let somebody know. There's like tons of stuff you got to do. You don't
go in dry.
Stick it in there. Okay? And that's basically what Blizzard did with this game. They basically had BlizzCon, which BlizzCon for the longest time has been this big celebration of Blizzard, right? Like they used BlizzCon to show off when they were launching the new StarCraft game, when they were doing a new Diablo, when they were doing a new expansion for World of Warcraft. Now those are big major things, okay? And it primarily appeals to the
PC gamers.
To the PC gamers. You do not go to something like that and show off a fucking mobile game. You don't. That should not be the principal focus of BlizzCon. How's it going, Kenoshi? What's happening?
No, not much. Well, the thing about Diablo is I'm surprised it hadn't become a mobile game sooner. But yeah, I agree though. I mean, if you're gonna don't spend millions of dollars on a show and announce your new paper cup line or something like that. I mean that's what they should. That's exactly what they did. It's just like they came out and said, "We got new styrofoam cup designs. We got new Blizzard styrofoam cup."
I mean, it's like that time when Microsoft was getting their ass handed to them by Sony. Actually, they're still getting their ass handed to them by Sony, console-wise. And the E3 comes out. It's like Microsoft's going to need to show some major games, and they fucking dropped a fucking Mustang from the ceiling. I'm like, really?
You spending money on a Mustang.
You spent money on you afford this money for a fucking Shelby?
Yeah, this is my hope that E3 completely dies and that Microsoft can finally put a fork in it and we could do something a little more practical.
I don't want Microsoft. I don't want E3 to die. I just want it to become better. You know what I mean?
Well,
more consumer friendly.
Too bad E3 could be like you could have like an E3 Direct or something where it's all different.
Like, here's the thing: the industry does need some type of spectacle. But I don't think E3, the way it is now, is that spectacle. For example, why the fuck are you charging? Like, okay, E3 grew out of the consumer electric show, CES. That's what it grew out of. Why the fuck do people have to pay? Like, these are the people you want to buy their shit. Why are you charging them $250 for a 4-day pass? Yeah.
If you're charging them $250, why not give them more incentives? You know, why not give them like, well, here's like a free couple of nights at a hotel or something, or $250. That's freaking insane.
I mean, if you're gonna
that's the price of an amusement park weekend, I think.
I mean, if you're gonna charge people, at least give them more of an incentive. Besides.
I mean, and if you have to charge people for E3, why don't you do this? And this is just a suggestion. Why don't you make the first day is X amount of dollars, right? It's for the 4-day thing, it's like $250. For 3 days, it goes down to $150. For 2 days, it's like $100 or $99.99. That's what gets them. And then for the last day, it's fucking free, so that general and open to the public, so that people who Joe Blow, average consumer, can go and see what's coming out, because that's who you want to sell to.
Well, why not have, if you're gonna charge, why not give discounts on food too? Because I'm sure it doesn't. Obviously, the pass doesn't cover your food, because I'm sure food vendors, if you go to any like a carnival or anything like that, are freaking ridiculous.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of the people who go to those things, cons, if you know what you're doing, they get some of that stuff for free. Believe it or not, they do. It's nothing. It's like finger sandwiches. It's nothing that's really going to fill you up or anything. But
I have a friend who's life hack carnivals when it comes to getting their food at discounts. Probably not very legal, but it was a wild story. But I digress.
Right, life hacks, and I'm saying that in quotations.
Life hacks.
Some of those life hacks work, but some of them, well, they belong back in the bargain bin.
Not to mention more time consuming.
Your mileage may vary.
But
back to Sony.
Yeah. Oh, well, before we get to Sony, Kenoshi, what are your thoughts about people finally calling out Bethesda on their bullshit?
It's about time. I mean, how much cheap, shitty alcohol do you have to be given to realize that this alcohol is no good, and that it's practically just,
poison.
It's rubbing alcohol with some grape flavoring and food dye to make it look like
Well, that's
your $500 wine.
That's too far. I got it. It's cheap vodka with some great Kool-Aid.
Oh!
And they're telling you that it's like the best fine fruity beverage. It's like this shit, cheap vodka and great drink. It's not even purple drink.
Oh.
You son of a bitch. It's not even purple drink.
Oh. That honestly. Okay, you got me laughing now, you guys.
And your thoughts on Blizzard, Kenoshi?
My thoughts on Blizzard is Blizzard is the I've always thought Blizzard was kind of overrated. Like, I applaud them on getting WoW to last as long as it did, but that game never looked appealing to me. I don't necessarily understand how that game became so popular. I knew jocks in high school that liked WoW. WoW kind of expanded. You know, I guess
somehow it became known well enough to be called World of Warcraft.
I think what made Warcraft big was that was the community that was built around it. Like people like meeting their friends, the people who can tell you how they met their spouse, male or female, or whatever their gender orientation are. The adventures they crafted with their friends, going into dungeons, doing raids, stuff like that. I think the community is what really built WoW, because I mean, at the end of the day, WoW isn't even like one of the first major successfully MMOs. That was Ultima Online back in the day.
So essentially, it was a lot of the social, more of the social aspects of WoW than the actual game itself. That drew people in. Okay, yeah, I can understand that, but I think coming out there, spending millions of dollars on a venue to announce a mobile game was just a terrible idea. Like
that's when they fucked up. Yeah.
Like I could see announcing this game at like an Apple, an Apple convention, or maybe like a Samsung, where they're announcing smartphones, where the topic is nothing but smartphones. But when you have people who have built their $5,000 computers to see the next big Blizzard game, and you announce a mobile game, that's a real kick. That's a real kick in the nuts right there. Like that's
and not only that, like their entire community was built off of PC gamers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the sad thing. That's like Nintendo saying, "Hey guys, our next Nintendo." That's like Nintendo doing a big direct, their big holiday direct, and instead of showing games for their home console or showing off their next handheld, they showed Super Mario Run 2. Like, if Nintendo did that, if they had a direct and they showed off Super Mario Run 2 and no other announcements, they deserve to be crucified just like Blizzard.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, you fucked up.
The funny thing is, they were smart about announcing a direct exclusively for a mobile game, and people could ignore it or go for it. At least they were honest about that.
I'm just saying, like when your bones were built off of a particular brand, a particular clientele, you don't get to abandon that clientele just because you don't get to do that.
Look, I mean, I understand money and they wanted to branch out, but do it at a venue where you're not going to, upset your base. Don't do it at a venue where you're mostly attracting your base. Do it, again, like I said, at a smartphone keynote. People will be a little upset, and they won't be like, whatever. Well, hopefully they come out with a Diablo 4, Diablo 4 proper. But this could hold us over for a little bit.
I just thought it was weird. I'm like, really? This is what you brought to the table. This? Are you kidding me?
And Bethesda seems to be coyote ugly. Like, going back to Bethesda seems to be coyote ugly. It's like every time these games come out, a lot of gamers go into a drunk stupor, and then I think Fallout 76 was the wake up call, and they realized the girl that they were with is that they took home off of
is a lot.
They're drunk. They woke up and realized, oh man, this girl's not attractive at all.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not making love to their looks. Like an ugly girl, yeah, she's ugly, but you still got something in the end. This is like taking a hot girl home and then she takes off her clothes and you realize she's smooth down there. It's like, I feel completely lied to. No, I mean, like, she's like Barbie. There's nothing. I don't mean she's smooth. I mean, she's got nothing down there. Like, that's basically what Bethesda did. It's like, but she was so pretty. Yeah, it was a lie. It was a lie. God damn it.
Yeah. But
I'd be scared to know whoever has a Barbie for a date.
But that's just me. I'm just a man.
So I'm pretty sure raw girls have Barbie doll bodies. I know
What?
some people who are still into it.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. What?
You were talking about women with Barbie doll like features, as in like no nipples or something.
No, I'm pretty sure I was talking about. Never mind. That's neither here nor
You
there.
kind of walked into that one.
But anyway, yeah, I find it amusing. So, anyone want to add anything else before we wrap things up? I mean, not wrap things up. We go on to Sony with their fuck ups because it's Sony. They're always fucking up somehow.
If it's not them if it's not them moving their HQ to LA or their sheep, I'm careful with my wording here. What else are they doing?
no, they pulled out of Sony pulled out of E3, and it seems like people are like, well, E3's dead. So it's like everybody, since Sony pulled out, it's like everybody's saying everything that we were saying when Nintendo said that they weren't going to have a conference E3, that they were going to have their directs and they were still going to have a booth. But they're pulling out completely. They're not going to have a booth. They're not going to have any keynote, digital keynote.
Well, to be fair, they have nothing to show.
Yeah.
Like they have absolutely nothing to show because they blew their wad on they gave Hideo Kojima way too goddamn much money for bullshit. And so
I wonder how badly that ruined them. How badly that's doing for them right now.
Well, I mean, I've always said Hideo Kojima, like Hideo Kojima and Blizzard have this in common. Both of them did pretty much their best work when they were younger, in my opinion. Like Blizzard back in the day made like StarCraft, Warcraft, Lost Vikings. Like they did their best work back in the day because like their work now is just kind of like it's okay, but I'm not like impressed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's basically how I feel about Blizzard. But yeah, I mean, Sony. I mean, do I think E3 is I think E3 is overrated. I don't think E3 is dead in the practical term. People are like E3 is dead. It's not. In its current form, it's gonna have to die because it's bullshit. Because they're not adding anything new to the formula. It's like, why should Joe Blow consumer get excited about something that they don't actually have any investment in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With how E3 is running right now, I'm surprised that it's still going as it is. Then again, at least one company is saving their money on some of it.
But my question is, which company is going to be taking Sony's place for Monday's E3 conference?
It'll probably be shorter. Either that or they'll move the PC thing into it, which is probably smarter than having it on a Sunday. Like, I don't know why they do the PC show on a Sunday.
On a Sunday?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
That's a good question because I don't get why PC is usually done first and on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft's conference starts on a Saturday.
Yeah, I wonder how I wonder how they're gonna set everything up next year.
Because I know Nintendo's still gonna have their still gonna have their direct on Tuesday morning, and probably open it up with Metroid Prime 4.
If they're smart, they will. Because if Metroid Prime 4 comes out and it's not what they promised, oh god.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear the words riot.
What did they promise, by the way?
I don't know. I'm just saying, if it's not something good, Nintendo will be crucified.
Yeah, unjustly crucified if it's something like what happened with Federation Force.
I don't think they're ever going to do that again.
Oh, the crowd's going to do that stupid again.
The fans will probably find a way to find something to complain about once they get their hands on it, the demo on it.
So, well, they really should do a demo for Smash Brothers. I mean, not Smash Brothers, for Metroid Prime. Because I want to know how they're going to get those. I don't know how they're going to get that same level of immersion without like that Wiimote control that we love so much.
No,
considering the Switch, because I was going to say, considering the Joy-Cons can do something like that, I'm not saying how well, but something like it, there might be a chance.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Though, if anything, I'm waiting for Metroid 5.
And since Sony will not be having an E3, how are they going to announce the Final Fantasy VII remake again? Through squares?
I think that game might be pushed over to the PS5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That might be like a launch title for the PlayStation 5. They're probably going to push Square to do that.
Considering how long it's taken to make that game, I wouldn't be surprised.
And of course, Shenmue 3. How they're going to announce a new trailer for it at E3.
The game no one was asking for. I mean, I know people like, Shenmue. Look, seriously, no one was asking for another Shenmue game.
Actually, people were asking for a new Shenmue game because the game ended on a cliff. The game story hasn't been concluded yet.
Let me put it this way, okay? I guarantee Shenmue is not going to sell that well. It's one of those games that people say, yeah, we really are interested in it, but when push comes to shove, they're not going to. They could give a shit less about it. But I could be wrong, Stranger things have happened. I'm probably not wrong, but it could happen. Anything is possible. I mean, anything is possible. I mean, tomorrow, a bag of money could fall out the sky and hit me in the face.
You'd probably be hurt as heck, but you'd probably be happy about it.
No, I'd be cool with it, especially if it's a lot of money. I'd be like, hey.
I was saying that because money can be heavy, and while it will be happy to gain that money, having it, your face will be a little bit better.
If it's millions of dollars, I'm cool. Like if a bag of millions of dollars falls out the sky and lands on my face, I'd be like, oh, that hurt, but I'm rich, so. I'm okay. I can buy a new face. I can buy a new face. It's okay. But
anything else to ramble about Sony in regards to their
bullshit?
Yeah.
Their continuous bullshit that never seems to end, ever.
I'm just waiting to know when their Christmas crash comes, so we know that it's winter. I'm sorry, that was a bad one.
There is one thing I should mention. Apparently, the Switch version of DOA Extreme 3 will have jiggle physics using the rumble feature, whereas the PS4 version of it won't because of Sony's
what? Policy. Did I hear that right? Jiggle physics.
Yes, you get to because of the Joy-Con's HD rumble, you can feel the jiggle physics.
Jiggle physics you can feel
through the
and it's on Nintendo.
Yes.
May I facepalm?
Yeah, I'm not cool with that. I don't like being perverted when I play video games. That's just me.
Well, it's not the only game that uses the HD rumble for the jiggle physics. There was Saren Kagura, that dating spin-off title.
Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable with that, but that's just me. I mean, the way I look at it is, why should I be excited about playing with fake boobs when I have a girlfriend and can play with real ones? It just doesn't make sense to me. But
I was asking that because I know that there's some guys out in this podcast that would probably be having second thoughts about even playing that game, or wonder why the heck are people wanting to put this in the games. And I think Red Fox is in the later.
Yeah, I just don't care. I'm not.
Or maybe they're using the game as some kind of one of their materials as helpful advice for their relationships on what to mimic in real life.
Let me put it this way: if you're using video games for information on what to mimic for a relationship, you have deeper issues than the video game itself.
I don't know.
Don't get me started on those wild ones in Japan.
I don't know. I've been hearing some online research articles about how dating sims actually help men get better at asking girls out on dates.
Oh no, I don't mean a dating sim, because I mean, at the end of the day, in a dating sim, you're doing what you do in a real date, which is asking questions, talking to people, finding out a girl's likes or dislikes, or stuff like that. Like, I don't mean that. I mean like people who get way too excited.
I mean, like using DOA X3 as finding ways for he and his girlfriend to mimic for their sex lives.
Yeah, like if you're using video games for something like that, you have issues, because video games are an unrealistic medium, and they should be, because I mean, a realistic video game is not fun. Like a realistic Mario game, like as soon as you did go and play the original Mario games, where if Mario jumped from too high, he'd die, because that's realistic.
And yet here we are, video game developers trying to mimic real life by trying to implement real life physics.
Yeah, we need to let go of that.
Yeah, please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
I've been playing Sunset Overdrive, and it's kind of nice to play a video game that's not ashamed of being a video game.
I mean, that's why I like the Saints Row games. Like, the Saints Row games know they're video games, and they're okay with that. It's not trying to be, we're going to tell this ultra-realistic story. It's like, no, this shit is ridiculous. Have fun.
The thing is, because they don't want to be poked fun at for using your typical video game logic, where there's an obstacle blocking the way, rather than getting passed through it by moving, like getting passed through it easily, you just find an item to cut through it, or using touching a healing item to heal yourself rather than health regeneration, which is becoming more and more close to reality than simply touching a health pack to heal your health.
Isn't that like from Duke Nukem, where he's like, "Hey, don't you want this space armor?" He's like, "Space armor for pussies."
Yeah.
I don't need no stinking space armor.
They're trying to avoid being poked fun at for using cliche video game logic tropes. That things that wouldn't work in real life. So they're trying to mimic real life in order to be poke less fun at.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's a video game. It's supposed to be unrealistic. Like that's the entire point of a video game, is that it's supposed to be unrealistic. It's not real. Like,
It's supposed to be a stretch of the imagination brought to you by someone else that you can enjoy in the comfort of your own home.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna look at the chat and see if any of our viewers have any questions for us, because they might. It has been known to happen.
While you do that, I want to at least bring up one thing that I found recently. Do you know what you shouldn't do when you're at a festival and doing a article about it?
Not tell them you're a reporter.
No,
because they don't like that.
Insult the people that are there by many things, like having someone say that they're dressed like a peacock, and I think it would be having fanboys be relegated. Should be glad this is only once a year thing. And this happened with somebody that did the article about Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn.
Oh God. Well, Final Fantasy XIV is about as bad as any of the other ones. So.
Yeah, but
is it because it's an MMO, or is it just because it's a?
Look up a Rock Paper Shotgun news article about it, and you'll see how bad it is.
Is Final Fantasy XIV a bad MMO?
Well, it's not bad. It's just
it's decent.
Final
I'm saying
Fantasy
that right now.
Shouldn't be an MMO.
It had a rocky start, but numerous patches and updates
and a revive.
Like the problem is that Final Fantasy it should not be an MMO.
Yeah, I know, but how they set it up, I'm just stating what they're doing and how it's going so far south.
Like that's the problem. At least to me, that's the problem, is that they call it an MMO when really it shouldn't really be an MMO.
And while I agree that Final Fantasy shouldn't be an MMO, considering what's been going on from 12 to 15, it's not looking better.
Yeah.
They should have made an MMO based on the Final Fantasy world without calling it Final Fantasy.
They should have called it World of Final Fantasy.
Oh.
Like they already kind of did anyway.
World of Final Fantasy looks fun. I heard it's pretty easy, but I don't know. I kind of want to play it.
Yeah, I got it for free on PC with I think I bought something. They just gave it to me. I mean, it's okay for what it is, but it's like I grew up with Final Fantasy. I know Final Fantasy, and I'm like, this shit is not Final Fantasy. It's like that old saying where Dan Quayle's like, yeah, I served with John Kennedy, and the guy's like, sir, I knew John Kennedy. John Kennedy was a friend of mine. You, sir, I know John Kennedy. It's like I grew up with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is one of my favorite games. And this shit, I know Final Fantasy, and none of the shit coming out of Square Enix that they put the Final Fantasy label on is Final Fantasy these days. Like Final Fantasy 15 is not Final Fantasy. It's like they don't know how to fucking make RPGs anymore.
Yeah, because all the people that made Square Enix, they left.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We're tired of your shit, son. And even the guy who made that dog shit ass Final Fantasy 15's like, yeah, it's fuck these guys, basically.
Yeah, he left. He bounced.
He's like, you know what?
Did he send in his 2 weeks, or did he just make that stream and say, "I'm out"? Did it come as a surprise?
I think that he was going to leave sooner or later because basically they wanted him to fall on his sword because everyone knows that Final Fantasy 15 did not meet its budget.
He's probably like, I ain't falling my sword. I'm out.
He was like, well, fine then. You want me to take the hit? Well, all right. Fuck you guys. I mean, I can't really get mad at him because, you know, when you make shit, you know.
Take responsibility at least.
Yeah, but it wasn't on him. It wasn't his. Like, if anyone needs to be fired because of that game, it's Tetsuya Nomura because he's the one who was supposed to be spearheading the development of that game for all those years and wasted all that fucking money to make.
Didn't they want to make that game a musical?
I don't know, man.
Really?
Like the way I look at it is like this: Tetsuya Nomura is overrated. Is an overrated shit huckster because all of his games are just bullshit, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
I was about to say, isn't the greatest example of his masterpiece the Final Fantasy 13 line?
No, that was another guy, but it's like, what are you doing to make this game better? Well, we're making Lightning's boobs bigger. I'm like, really? That's how you're gonna fix how fucking broken this game is? Yeah, we're gonna make her boobs bigger. I mean, he didn't exactly say that. He said we're gonna make her bustier. We're gonna make her into a D cup, a Japanese D cup, which is still not that large. And it's just ridiculous. I'm like, really? That's how you're gonna? Because I mean, the game sucks. Final Fantasy 13 killed that franchise.
The way they introduced everything in that game, I'm like, this makes no freaking sense.
The story is trash. The characters are unlikable. The primary villain is just some bullshit.
Doesn't the game play itself? Can't you set up where the game just plays itself?
Now that's Final Fantasy 12. With the Gambit system, the game plays itself. Which, I mean, I heard some people defend it. They're like, well, it's a neat idea. I don't play games because I want them to play themselves, God damn it.
That's mobile tariff right there.
That's clicker territory.
When I see
not clicker, that's idle. That's those idle games. They play themselves.
Oh man, I do not get the appeal of that stuff, and people pour money, real world money, into that stuff too.
Yes, they do.
That's ridiculous. Like, holy crap! I need to go out and learn some code and figure out how to make a really addictive idle game people can dump real world money into.
I'd be cool with it because if you're dumb enough to give someone real world money for a fake game, I don't know what to say to you except, sure, I'll take your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take your money. I don't care. Shit. It's not my money, damn it. It's not my money, damn it. Yeah, I said it.
Oh, man. So you think Sony's going to file for bankruptcy, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, sell all their assets?
No,
they ain't gonna sell all their
Sony's
assets.
not gonna not gonna file for bankruptcy. What's probably gonna happen with
if
what's
they
gonna
do,
happen with they'll probably get saved by Japan's business policy.
Thank you, Pinky. If anything, Japan's gonna save their rear ends because Japan and Sony are so linked together.
Well, that and the fact that
I'm not sure by how much.
The Bank of Japan owns via stock like a lot of Sony's money. So
what? So is Sony leeching off of Japan essentially? Why not just, take a pair of hot pliers and rip the leech off of them, or rip the tick off of them?
Well, I mean, it's like this, okay? It's like when they had the automotive bailout, right? It looks really bad when, like, if Ford went out of business. That would look really fucking bad because Ford is this iconic American brand, right? So it's the same thing with Sony, right? The problem is that Sony isn't really a Japanese company anymore.
It's an international business.
And they aren't really run like a Japanese company. Now, Japanese companies going out of business too, but like how Sony's been doing a lot of shady shit and just kind of been firing people left and right and just doing kind of fucked up shit.
Yeah, they're hardly even a Japanese company. I mean, they're more of an American company these days, the way they've been acting.
Yeah, with their bullshit ass stuff. So I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, well, it's, you're not being fair. People love to say that one. You're not being fair. It's like, I don't need to be fair because they're the ones been fucking up, not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I guess this is the free topic portion. Although, let me see if I can.
Actually, there is one. There's something we forgot to mention before you move on to the free topic.
Well, before we do, we have a few questions from the comment section. Shenmue won't sell as well as F-Zero as an example. Lazy one. Yeah, it's not going to sell. Like Shenmue is a game that people like to talk about. They're so fond of. But if you ask most people, say, yeah, we want Shenmue 3. You ask them, did you play Shenmue 1 and 2? They'll say no. Like it's like when people say they want a new Metroid Prime. I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is going to sell nearly as well as people think because Metroid Prime is something that people clamor for, but when it comes time to buy it, because if that was the case, the Metroid Prime trilogies would have sold a lot better. Let's see, the Final Fantasy. When I'm talking about Final Fantasy, do I mean Identity Crisis XD? No, I mean Final Fantasy 13 killed the series. Like it brought it down. Like Final Fantasy 12 isn't really a Final Fantasy game. It's a Final Fantasy Tactics RPG because it's set in the same universe as Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy 12, however, 13 is just bad. Like the story sucks, the gameplay sucks, the character design sucks, the characters suck. Everything about that game is just
suck.
Yeah. And I don't mean suck in a good way. I mean just like it should never be a chore to play an RPG. Like you should always feel, even when you're grinding and working hard, it's like, well, I'm getting some type of reward out of this. Final Fantasy 13 is the first RPG that I played through and I just felt angry. Like the entire time I was
the
playing.
Story. I only play. I think I played like a couple hours of that game. A few hours. I got to the point where where the whole city essentially freezes over or whatever. It's like there's no the motives of the characters that they introduce make no sense. Nothing about it makes any sense. You have these complex, these weird words that you use, and you don't explain them. You don't even have, you don't really show what the words mean. You're just talking and explaining, and you're not really explaining anything. The game is freaking terrible.
Well, the characters just aren't fun. Like the world isn't fun to be in, and they try to do this big spin. They're like, well, because I mean, the thing is, I mean, let's just keep it real. There's been no one who's really been able to direct Final Fantasy since Hironobu Sakaguchi left. There's no one there who knows how to direct that franchise.
Well,
So
I'll give an example of a real convoluted story that didn't make any sense, but it was still enjoyable. That's Blaze Blue, and the reason it was enjoyable is because the characters were fun and the character interactions were entertaining. Yeah, the story made no sense. Yeah, it was convoluted as all heck, but I still enjoyed seeing, playing through that story because, well, the characters were interesting.
yeah, but that's a fighting game, and a fighting game is always going to have a certain level of a story. Like a fighting game doesn't live or die by its story. Like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are unique in that they have stories that are kind of interesting, but like you could go into those games without any knowledge of the story and still kind of have fun with the base gameplay. RPGs live and die on how invested you are in the story. Not graphics, it's the story and the characters. That's what builds an RPG. If the story sucks and the characters suck, your RPG is in trouble. I don't care how gorgeous it looks. And that was the problem with Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 graphically looked very pretty. Everything else about it was garbage. Lightning is a shitty character. Snow is a shitty character. That black guy with the afro with a bird nest in the top of it was a shitty character. Like, it's just
I would say he might be the shitty of the bunch, but still.
Let me put it this way. Being the least stinking turd does not change the fact that you are a turd.
I said that he might be the least trash of the characters, but that's like saying that you're the top of level 1.
That's like saying, man, I'm the most fit, obese person in this exercise class. You're all in the obesity exercise class, so everybody here needs some help. Okay, like that's basically the problem with 13. With 13 is that like everything about it sucks. And then they had the nerve with 13 too. They're like, well, we'll basically kind of take a page out of Chrono Trigger. And that it was like a shitty version of Chrono Trigger.
I was gonna say that's an insult to more games than you can imagine.
Yeah, like how could you insult Chrono Trigger? Like what did anyone do? What did Chrono Trigger do to you to make you need to insult it like this? Like why would you do that? Like
yeah, and the battle system, I mean, sure it's a little more simplified, but you have a creature take up slot 3 and you basically have nothing else to help you out there? Seriously?
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. But that's neither here nor there. I guess now we can move on to the free... Oh, no. We've got one last topic left before we move on to the free topic section, which is people pirating the shit out of Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Why?
Yeah, because it comes out in just a few days, like literally.
Because apparently Mexico broke the street date and sold the copies earlier than scheduled.
Nintendos are visiting the border.
When Nintendo goes there and breaks their foot up in their ass, I don't want to hear anyone say anything. Well, why'd you do that? Hey man, let's go talk to those Pokemon people who broke the street date for Pokemon X and Y. Remember?
Yeah.
Huh. Makes me wonder
They
how
no
fast
longer
can
have. They no
run.
longer have legs, do they?
I don't know about that, but
They're probably sleeping in
And
a
now,
very quiet place.
and now they data mine every single content the game has to offer. The story mode, the OST, the spirits.
this is why we can't have nice things, because of people like that.
Yeah.
This
And
is
I
the
thought
exact
China would do this first.
This is the exact reason why Sakurai didn't include a story mode in Smash for Wii U and 3DS because of this leak.
No, I think he was just being an asshole, personally. I don't think that had any. I think that was just a convenient excuse. I don't really think that was the reason why he didn't include it. Because, I mean, let me put it this way. If you are someone who produces a product and the reason you take features out of that product is because someone hurt your feelings, like you let your feelings get in the way of getting paid, you're a dumbass. But
to the people that Platoon.
You know, I don't think you should let feelings get in the way of your money. Now, with that being said, however, with that being said, I don't think it's fair to the people who worked hard to make that game that some asshole goes and scans shit and puts it out there. Like that's disrespect to the people who worked on the game. That's disrespect to the people that are gonna get the game. Like that's just disrespectful. And that's the problem with a lot of gamers, that they're fucking selfish. They don't think about other people. They don't think about, well, they're people who don't really want to be surprised. You know, this is like someone coming in your house and your kid and your parents wrap these gifts and put them under the tree. And they broke in your house, opened up your presents, and then woke you up out of bed and told you what you got like 5 days before Christmas. Like, this is basically what people do. I mean, that's just a dick move. That's really just a dick move. And that's what they did.
And there's Smash Troopers warning their viewers to avoid YouTube and Twitter at all costs, or use video block to block out certain leaked videos involving Smash.
So far, I'm glad I haven't ran into any of those.
Well, I haven't seen any leaks, but then again, I've just been ignoring like most of them. I'm like, I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, I have to know. Like, I don't have to know. Like, I find that amusing that people are always like, yeah, I have to know. I need to know shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. I want to be surprised, you know? I'm paying for the luxury of ignorance.
And apparently there's a rumor regarding the data mines, and it involves Square Enix's meddling.
What the heck?
You mean to tell me they're the reason it got leaked?
No, I mean there's rumors going on based on the data miners that apparently Cloud does not appear at all in the new story mode.
Oh, that's okay. I don't like Cloud Strife anyway.
I can honestly hear the people groaning about this.
I mean, I honestly, like, if there was ever a Final Fantasy character that I give no shits about, like, I would rather Cloud Strife not be in the game, to tell you the truth. Like, I would, like, because there's so many characters.
There's so many characters from Final Fantasies 1 through 6 that could be in there.
Exactly. Like, there's characters who deserve to be in there before Cloud Strife, like Terra from Final Fantasy 6, or Bartz from Final Fantasy 7. Or not 7, 5, or Edward the Spoony Bard from Final Fantasy 4. Like, there's so many other characters that should be there before Cloud Strife.
Well, actually, in an old interview back in 2015, when he was talking about the inclusion of Cloud in Smash, he said that he did mention Terra and a few other of those previous Final Fantasy characters, but he went with Cloud because he's because he was more popularly requested than those others.
No, I understand that. People have this weird fucking love affair with Cloud Strife. I'm not taking that away. I'm saying that just on a technical level, when you think about what Smash Brothers is about, it's a celebration of older video game characters that are especially associated with Nintendo. Cloud Strife has never been on a Nintendo console until he was put in like the compilation Smash game. But his main game, Final Fantasy VII, has never been on a Nintendo console. So fucker doesn't deserve to be.
That's going to be corrected soon enough, but until then.
Yeah, but that's a fucking re-release. That doesn't count.
I said it will be corrected later on, but until then, you can honestly say that he's never been on a Nintendo console. At least officially.
That seriously does not count if you're putting
a re-release.
Yeah, if you're putting a fucking re-release. Because, I mean, if you're going by re-releases, then technically there are no console exclusive characters except for Nintendo characters. Because Mario technically is the only character who's only appeared on his own console. Because every other character has been bitched out everywhere else. Devil May Cry, Dante was in that Devil May Cry reboot in the Beautiful Joe collection for the GameCube, in Beautiful Joe 2, where they had that special mode where it was DMC, except it was like in Beautiful Joe 2D format. I mean, he's not a console exclusive character. Let's see who else. Kratos was on the PC version of Soul Calibur.
You mean Mortal Kombat? Or did he show up?
Yeah, I think he was in Mortal Kombat. I mean, my point is that the only console exclusive character, so you can't go with like re-releases because you got to go with what they originally came out on. Now, Earthworm Jim, he was on Sega Genesis and the SNES and the Sega CD. I think there was a PC port of those games too. So yeah, Earthworm Jim could be in Smash Brothers. Talking about RPG characters that could be in there. I mean, Maxwell.
You mentioned a few of them already.
Well, I was going to say Maxwell from Lufia. Maxim from Lufia. You could do Ryu from the numerous, from at least 2 of the Breath of Fire games. You could do
Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series.
Well, I was thinking RPGs, but you can do him too from Ninja Gaiden. You could do Will from Illusion of Gaia. You could do Phalanx from Soul Blazer. You could do Arc
you got
from Paradigma.
A big plate of choices, right?
I mean, you could do all the protagonists from Final Fantasies 1 through 6. Even Shadow with Sector. Mog, the Moogle. Even Umaru, the Yeti. I mean, there's a wide plate of shit that you could choose from. But no, Cloud Strife should have never been in that game, like ever. He didn't earn the right to be in Smash Brothers. Even if he is popular, he didn't earn the right to be there because he was never on a Nintendo platform. And yes,
yeah.
I know people are gonna get mad. I like Cloud Strife. I don't care if you like him. You can marry him as far as I care, but he didn't earn the right to be in Smash Brothers.
Oh, speaking of marrying imaginary characters, do you remember that website? It was back in like 2007, 2008.
Oh God!
People could go and marry imaginary characters and YouTubers. It's hilarious. It's like the weirdest thing ever.
I've seen some DeviantArt images involving DeviantArt users photoshopping their picture, their quote unquote waifus.
That's just
don't get me started with some people marrying their DS game copies of certain.
Oh yeah, that's bad in Japan.
Games.
Yeah, that's bad in Japan. I'm like seriously, dude, you're gonna marry a fake person? That's just creepy. That's just really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Well, once VR technology improves, it's no longer creepy.
No, it's creepy. The only way that I'm gonna say it's not creepy to want to have sex with a fake person is if they come out with a gynoid, or we get the holodeck from Star Trek. Then I'll be like, okay, because it's virtually indistinguishable from a real person. But if you're like marrying your fake DS girlfriend, I'm sorry, you need help, my friend. Lots and lots of help. All the help, actually.
Yeah.
Every little bit of help that's available you need, because you have issues, my friend. Tons and tons of issues.
Issues, that's put it lightly, my good sir.
And we know why these people do this, because they don't want to deal with the issues that might be upheld with a real woman. But the thing is that that's part of the thing. I mean, a real woman is going to argue with you. She's going to speak her mind. That's what makes her worthwhile over, a fake woman who can be customized to do whatever the hell you want, which is kind of creepy, frankly speaking. But what do I know? I'm just a guy.
Well, a guy with a business, but still.
But anyway, that's just me.
Continuing on the whole Smash League thing, Nintendo's now, I think we already discussed that Nintendo's now taking down 2 large YouTube channels that are uploading Smash Ultimate soundtrack.
Good. Fuck them.
Oh yeah, they also dynamited all the Mii costumes for Smash Bros. Ultimate, and they noticed that some of the Mii costumes didn't come back from the last game.
And unless you really are wedded to the idea of Mii costumes, I don't know why anyone would care. That's just me, though.
One of them is
I was gonna say, if you're a Mii user, you probably would know some of these, and I bet you Gina's one of the costumes that are still in the roster.
Actually, the Gino costume got cut.
What?
Yeah, that's good. That means that Gino might be a playable character
as DLC.
Let me put it this way: Gino deserves to be in Smash Brothers before Cloud Strife. Yeah,
I would
that
actually
asshole.
Another Mii costume that got cut was the Monster Hunter costume.
Good. It didn't deserve to be there anyway.
Damn.
I mean,
bringing the heat.
Capcom, let me put it this way. Monster Hunter is just one of those games where I don't know why. I don't understand people's love affair with that game. Now, partially it's because I already kind of had that love affair with Phantasy Star, and that itch was scratched a long time ago. Like, I can't tell you how many times where I was supposed to be studying in college, and instead I was playing Monster Hunter for my GameCube, or not Monster Hunter, Phantasy Star. So I understand going into an area, fighting enemies to get drops that you can then use to make better equipment, so that you can fight tougher enemies to get drops, so that you can rinse and repeat ad infinitum. But the problem is that, like, that was over a decade ago when I was in college doing that. Like, now it's like I don't see the point of playing games like that anymore. So it's just weird.
And even the Heihachi Mii costume got cut.
Good. Fuck Heihachi. Like, you know what this means? You know what this means? It means that probably Namco Bandai isn't helping with this game, which is good, because fuck Namco Bandai and their shitty.
Or maybe they. But others are saying that it may give Heihachi a chance of being playable in Smash as DLC.
I hope not.
Since he was originally supposed to be playable in Smash in the last Smash game.
I hope not. I hate Heihachi as a character.
but he's the main mascot of the Tekken franchise.
Yeah, but I don't give a shit. I don't like Tekken. I'm not, which is weird because I like Soul Calibur, and Soul Calibur and Tekken, when they first came about, were basically using the same engine. And if you played them, they play kind of similarly, except one's weapon based and the other is fisticuffs. But I've never given a shit about Tekken. I give no shits about Tekken. Like if Tekken the game was a person and they died in a car accident, I'd be like, oh well. Feel sorry for their family, but don't give a shit about them. But for people who really want Heihachi, good for you. If I'm fighting you online, well, I probably won't be fighting you online because I'm not paying for the online service. But if I play you in person, I'll probably kick your ass just because I don't like that character. Just like people who are using Clefairy or Cloud Strife. Fuck you! I hate this character. I'm gonna go after you. But that's neither here nor there. I guess we can move on to free topic. If we've exhausted the people's need to spoil things for everybody else, bastards. Before we go any further, the lazy one has some comments they'd like to say. The lazy one agrees with you with Blaze Blue's story.
Yeah.
He also says that Final Fantasy 13 has too much terminology that's not ever been explained. They say that here's some other characters that should have been in Smash before Cloud Strife: Kain, Highwind, Terra, Garland. I'll even take Gabranth. Have you forgotten Ultros? That damn octopus monster that keeps on popping up in Final Fantasy VI, and every time he pops up, he's even more powerful than he was before. Hell, I even take Kefka as a playable character. He'd be fun.
He'd be overpowered, but damn.
No, you could totally do Kefka. If they're doing villains, he'd be a great villain to add because his ultimate smash could be him becoming the god of magic and just throwing a temper tantrum and destroying the stage.
Problem is that he's the main villain of Final Fantasy VI. So adding the villain before the main hero is.
I have a question for you. Isn't Ganondorf the main villain of like 95% of the Legend of Zelda games?
Yeah.
Then why is there a problem adding Kefka?
No, that's not the problem. The top problem is adding the villain before the hero in the roster. It sounds kind of weird.
Well, hell, they added Cloud Stripe and he sucks. So I mean, why? I mean, hell, I'm just saying.
It's kind of like adding Bowser before Mario.
Well, the thing is, it's Sakurai's game, so he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, I mean, he took out the fucking single player with the last game because people were stealing shit. Personally, I just think it was just a time period thing. I think they were like they wanted to get that game out as quickly as possible, and they didn't want to put the time in to add all that shit. That's what that was.
No, it's because of the scenario that's similar to what's happening right now.
Nah. I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And of course, I'll be writing an article about it tomorrow. In the wake of all this. So I guess we can move on to the
Please stop humming, Jewel.
Sorry. We were talking about Smash, so I finally hum a little while waiting.
Well, I mean, now it's time for free topic. So anyone want to bring anything up while we're in before we for free topic?
Oh yes, something that popped out recently. Eiji Onuma mentioning about the possibilities of an Skyward Sword HD coming to Switch.
Oh God.
That was one of the weakest. That's one of the weakest 3D Zelda games, in my opinion.
You know what? I normally I would agree with you, but then I played Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, oh no, this is even worse. Because I mean,
one of our
Skyward Sword
commentators
had
will disagree with both of
dungeons.
you.
Skyward Sword had dungeons and items in the dungeons that you could use in other dungeons. And while it did have breakable shields, your sword didn't break, which was kind of nice. In the middle of a fight.
You do get awarded a healing shield, which doesn't break.
Yeah, but I mean, to get to that point is such a bitch. But anyway, yeah. I mean, like I said, you know, I thought it was. I was with you. I thought Skyward Sword was the weakest Legend of Zelda game, but then I played Breath of the Wild, and I was like, at the time, I was like, I waited so long. It's kind of like that old joke from Eddie Murphy where he's like, you're with a woman and she makes you wait and wait and wait and wait, and you finally get with her, and you're like, this is the best stuff ever. That's how it was with Breath of the Wild. It's like you wait and you wait, and you finally get a new Legend of Zelda. You're like, this is great, but then you go back and you realize, no, not really. It's okay.
It's a victim of the Zelda cycle, where the recent Zelda game that gets trashed, while the previously trashed Zelda game gets praised.
Not really, because I mean, like the Zelda cycle doesn't work for me because I think both of them are pretty bad. I think Skyward Sword. Actually, no, I take that back. Breath of the Wild is a really good experiment. The problem is that what they took out of the quote-unquote Zelda formula is kind of what made Zelda fun for me. So to me, the experiment didn't work. I know some people, I love this. It's like a breath of fresh air. I'm like, good for you, but I like dungeons. I like items in dungeons I like dungeon puzzles where I get an item and then I have to figure out how to use that. I think they should have been building on that formula instead of chucking it out the window for something new.
Yeah, I think they should add more elements of that figure out how to add the dungeon formula to that formula, but the new thing that they've created. I think there's some potential with the
makes me wonder.
With dungeons.
That makes me wonder: are the key items basically in the main four beasts, or is it scattered about?
There are no key items in any of the dungeons in Breath of the Wild. There are no
like something like bombs and that.
No, there's nothing. You just get shit as you go along in the game, and it has an endurance meter. And once it's empty, you're fucked, and you got to go get another one. It's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. Like basically almost all of the skills you need in order to beat the game, you get on the Great Plateau with the runes, and you learn how to use your glider, and you get the bow and arrow, and you get a sword. Like that's basically everything you need. You get up the Great Plateau, and for me, that just feels fucking wrong for a Legend of Zelda game. Like Legend of Zelda games are about a young man going on a journey and becoming a hero. You should not be able, think how fucked up it would be if you were playing, I don't know, Ocarina of Time, and as soon as you get on the Hyrule field with your little Kokiri sword, you go to Hyrule and fight Ganon and kick his ass. That would just fuck up the entire journey. No meeting the Gorons, no meeting the Zoras, no going to Gerudo Valley. Like, that entire journey is negated by some bullshit. That's bad game design.
Here we are.
And people are going to say that you can go to the other places before you fight off Ganon, but something tells me that's a...
The entire motif of Breath of the Wild is playing the game however you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, that's like going to a restaurant and it's like I paid $100 for to eat at this restaurant, and they're like, oh no, get in here and fucking cook your own damn food. Well, shit, I could have stayed home, motherfucker. That's basically how I feel when video game developers do that. I hate that. I hate. Oh God, I hate that. Oh, I'm paying you money. You fucking design the shit, motherfucker. You design it. God damn it. You design it. That's what I'm paying you for.
I think a better example would be those all-you-can-eat buffet restaurants.
No, because even then, someone else is fixing it for you. You're just putting shit on your plate. But there's still a structure to that. Like because you look at how they structure shit in an all-you-can-eat buffet. There's like, okay, this is the appetizer line, so it's normally salads and like little finger foods and stuff. This is the entree line, so it's like main dish type stuff. Here's the dessert area. If you go to a Chinese place, it's like there's the sushi place over there in the barbecue where you get the raw food and they put it on the hot griddle and cook it. Like there's order to that. This is like literally you go to a restaurant and they're like, oh, you want it a certain way? Well, come back here and cook it your own damn self. I don't want to cook this shit myself. That's why I came to you. Because I wanted it fixed a certain way. That is what I paid you for, to fix it a certain way.
It sounds more like minor nitpicks that does not affect the overall.
No, a minor nitpick is Skyward Sword not having enough
land to explore,
enough dungeons, like enough things to do in the overworld, in the world above the clouds. Which I mean, you know, some people don't find that to be an issue, but I mean, to me, it's like you have this massive world above the clouds and these islands. I think there should have been more shit above the clouds to do.
I agree with that.
And that's a minor nitpick. I'm not saying that the game itself is just completely, or saying, man, these motion controls suck. Just because you don't like the motion controls doesn't mean they suck. That's a minor nitpick. Having a game where there's major shit that's been a part of the franchise since its inception has been removed and replaced with do whatever the fuck you want. That's a major problem. That's a major problem.
Going from a gourmet meal to serve yourself, right?
And yet you want this motif to be applied in a new Pokemon game because you're getting tired of the old traditional methods in Pokemon.
I've said this in Pokemon 4. I said, you know, keep the original formula as a path. Like you want to play it traditionally, play it traditionally. But for those of you who want to go off the beaten path, like let's say hypothetically you meet team whatever, because they like to have that in Pokemon games. You meet team whatever. They're like, yeah, we're gonna free the Pokemon so that we can save the world while simultaneously killing all the humans. Okay, I'll join you. What? Really? That worked? Yeah, sure, I'll join you. And so now you have a path where you're going up against the quote unquote good guys. I think that would be a nice little alternate way to play through a Pokemon game. I don't think most people would go that path, but having that option would be nice. Here in Breath of the Wild, they don't even give you the fucking option because there's like 4 dungeons and none of them have anything really worthwhile in them except you fight a variation of the same fucking character.
They do give you enough options.
You fight a variation of the same fucking character 4 times. Well, no, wait, no, because you have to fight them in the final dungeon 5 goddamn times. It's ridiculous.
They do give you an option. You can choose not to go all those 4 dungeons and go straight to the final boss.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so but I guess it's time to get the free topic. I'll let Kenoshi go first because he's kind of playing Sunset Overdrive right now, so I'm gonna let him get it out of the way, and then other people can get in there.
Well, Pokemon Let's Go has sold 3 million copies.
Yep, it should. It's
hated still.
It's made to appeal to a more casual audience, so it should sell 3 million.
Well, see, my problem is that with gamers today is that they think everything should be made for them, and that if anything is made outside of their liking, then that should die.
That's why, you just angered one of them, Kenoshi.
And I'm going to say this right now for both you and him, that it's still a hated game.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. 60% people actually hate it.
No, your group is part of
No. I can actually prove it.
Here's what I'm going to say, okay? I'm going to play the moderator between these two extremes. Personally, I don't give a shit about Pokemon Go. But it's not made for me. It's made to reach that ultra casual audience that played Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Go on the smartphone, and they think that's
the thing that doesn't make sense. This doesn't reach the people in the. This doesn't make a go between for the people in the middle that are not Pokemon Go fans, and this doesn't even reach to the people that are hardcore fans. This reaches to nobody. Seriously.
Well, no,
it's reaching. This is supposed to be a good game.
Yeah, but it's reaching the ultra casuals who don't care about the baggage that goes with those other two things. And like I said, like me personally, like here's the thing: I don't have to buy this game, and I'm not. I refuse. I'm like, I don't need it. Like I don't.
I refuse to buy trash. Period.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever makes people happy. But I'm not losing my shit. Flipping over tables. I'm not flipping over tables.
Because if anything, it'll be because of this guy and this guy, you two, that is going to make the game worse than ever before. If it happens,
I don't think they're going to
blame it for YouTube directly if it happens.
No, I mean I don't. Yeah, I don't think they're going to destroy the base. I don't think they're gonna piss off the base, because the Pokemon Company knows that if they piss off their core fan base, that's really the only game they have. Yeah, because
I've seen some hardcore fans who actually enjoyed some of the mechanics in Let's Go, such as the overworld encounters of the wild Pokemon.
I mean, to be fair,
60% of the people in the
to be fair, most of us
actually said that this is a terrible thing.
No,
to be fair, I'm being serious because I actually use something.
Who are the 60% anyway?
But to be fair to both of you,
and if you're wondering, 46% of the people that loved the game were actually agreed on that spot.
Well, here's what I'll say to be fair to both of you. Okay, Pokemon Let's Go has features that even core fans who might not be wild about the game like. Like that's the way. Like I'm not crazy about Breath of the Wild, but there's certain aspects of the game that I will admit are really good. Like the physics engine is really good. How enemies interact with one another outside of you interacting with them is really cool. I just wish in other aspects they would have been reached a little bit further. But that's just my own little pet peeve about certain things. So I mean, like, yeah, I'm okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are core fans who are like, yeah, I really would like to have, to be able to see enemy encounters instead of having random encounters when I run through rough grass or in a cave or at sea or whatever. That's a smart move.
And I posted an article about my pros and cons on playing the game by experience, and the only cons I had was using the Joy-Con for motion control for the catching mechanic. It works. The mechanic works better if you're using the Pokeball Plus.
Sell out.
And yeah, but I'm not buying that shit. So
and I got screwed over that apparently Eevee is the better starter than Pikachu because it gets exclusive moves that are so OP that makes it more OP than Pikachu.
Hey man, you the one got the love of
You're the one that bought trash. So I'm not
I've said this before. Pikachu is a shitty Pokemon. And people keep on getting angry with me when I say that. How dare you? I'm like, Pikachu is a shitty Pokemon. Why is this so difficult for people to understand that Pikachu is not a good Pokemon?
And also, Joel, I am not being a salad. I'm actually on.
Yes, you are, because if anything, I could bet you even bought the Pokeball Plus.
I did bought the Pokeball Plus, and it actually works better than the Joy-Con.
Yeah, well, the game was kind of built to sell that peripheral because the Pokemon Company really knows how to milk people. They've been doing it for years. Hey, you want to get all 151 Pokemon? You got to get both versions of this game, have another Game Boy, and trade with somebody. Oh, and the link cable's $19.99 plus tax.
And finally,
they learned from Beanie Babies creating cute monsters.
And my final nitpick of the game, that out of all the moves that they removed in order to further simplify the game, they kept the one move that broke the competitive metagame, which is Stealth Rock.
Really?
Yeah, it's a move that pretty much makes fire types, ice types, bug types, and flying types useless in competitive gameplay since 2006.
That's a shame, because they should have kept what they had back in the day. Because back in the day,
Rap disabled the opponent.
No, back in the day they didn't have Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is a new thing.
Yeah, but I was gonna say
because of it, Pokemon like Charizard and Articuno are trash tier Pokemon until they get their you use their Mega evolutions.
That's okay.
They should have put back how Rapid Poison worked if they're doing it that old school.
Or bring back the Hyper Beam mechanic where every KO ignores the recharge move. Or that one mechanic where the faster your Pokemon is, the more likely you get critical hits. Now those were some dark times.
So what are some side games that some games that were made off of the off-brand side game that didn't ruin the franchise? Like this was based off in a game's universe, but it didn't completely abandon the fan base.
Let's see.
Dragon Quest Monsters.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Dragon Quest Monsters is a side game that didn't ruin the franchise because it's still overall pretty damn good. You
could also argue the Persona franchise, since it's a side game.
Yeah, Persona's a side game, and it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Isn't Persona a side game or a side game?
No. Because Persona is the side game for Shin Megami Tensei. Shin Megami Tensei is the core franchise. So Persona is the spinoff for the main thing. However, Metroid Prime is a spinoff that did well. Yeah. I mean, it did well for the time, except even though people who claim that they're Metroid Prime fans don't know they don't seem to realize that it is in fact a spinoff. They're like, we want the mainline Metroid game, but the mainline Metroid game is I mean, to me personally, I don't think I consider Other M to be a spinoff because it doesn't really play like a core Metroid game to me.
Yeah, I prefer the 2D Metroid games actually to the newer stuff.
Yeah, Metroid.
I'm waiting for Metroid 5.
Metroid Other M, they were trying way too hard to make it be like they were crowds. Yeah, they wanted it to be actiony, and I'm like, Metroid is not an actiony franchise. It's just, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Like, not everything needs to be, in the same tier. We have someone here. However, the original Pokemon games, Psychic Pokemon rule the show. Not really. Like, Psychic Pokemon were basically
Psychic types were pretty broken in the original game.
They were broken because they told you that their weakness were ghost type Pokemon. The only ghost type Pokemon in Gen 1 was Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. And the problem is that it wasn't just pure ghost, it was ghost/poison. Psychics do massive damage to poison type Pokemon.
And also there's a glitch that causes ghost type move to be ineffective against psychic types.
Yeah, however, there was a way to get around that. If you put a normal type against psychic types, also had shitty physical defense. Like, the only psychic type that had somewhat of a decent defense was
Executor.
That's a hybrid. I'm talking pure psychic type. The only pure psychic type Pokemon that had
Hypno.
Yeah, it was Hypno. And even Hypno was not necessarily, like, it was slow as hell. So basically, if you had a normal type that had a high normal attack and they used like Headbutt or Mega Punch or Mega Kick, that was their ass. I hit you with Psychic. I have so much health, and because of that, Mega Kick.
And there are two normal types that do the job, which are Tauros and Snorlax.
Yep, Tauros, the Snorlax just destroy psychic types. It was ridiculous. Or if you could catch one, if you were lucky enough, a Kangaskhan. Or you could get a Marowak and have it learn Bonemerang. That would fuck up a psychic type too. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Trinell83 says Summon Knight Swordcraft Story was a spinoff that didn't ruin the franchise. I did not know that was a spinoff, but it is a pretty good. It is pretty good. Anyone else have a spinoff they want to pimp out?
Let's see. Not counting the Mario spin-off titles like Mario Kart, Mario Tennis,
the Mario RPGs.
Yeah, or Mario Party.
Well, which Mario RPG? Because there's like the good Mario RPGs, and then there's the not so good Mario RPGs.
Most people would classify them as the paper RPG series versus the handheld RPG series.
The handheld RPG series has stayed pretty good until the last one they did, which was the Paper Jam. That one was kind of.
It wasn't that bad.
Good. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just too easy. It was like they dumbed it down to reach a wider audience, and that was a fuck up on their part because. It's a paper game. It doesn't need to be so damn easy that someone who's brain dead could beat it. Like that was a bridge too far, in my opinion.
Oh, there had to be a way to make RPGs more accessible to casuals without having to spend days or weeks completing it.
I disagree. I think RPGs are a genre that really, in order for you to really appreciate RPG,
they're a requirement of your time and effort.
Yeah, you have to put in the quality time. Like you can't. It's kind of like when you find people who are like, yeah, I want to make money, but they don't want to put in the quality time to lay the foundation so that they can make money. It's like you can't just say I want to be rich and you don't do the hard work to get paid,
Yeah.
Like it's pretentious to go around saying I want to get paid, but you don't want to do any of the work to get paid, so fuck you. Like that's basically the problem with people wanting to make easy RPGs is that a good RPG you got to put in the quality time. I'm sorry, there is no shortcut to making good RPGs.
So people consider Kingdom Hearts an RPG.
It's an action RPG.
You heard me say that. Shit.
Yeah,
Chanel 83
that makes
says
me
the
wonder.
Zero series in Mega Man. I mean, at most, I would say Kingdom Hearts is an action game with RPG elements. The Zero series in Mega Man, you're right. The Zero series is a good spinoff. Hell, Battle Network is a good spinoff. Star Force is a good spinoff. Let's see, what's another spinoff? Dino Crisis was a spinoff of Resident Evil.
What about Pocket Fighters?
Pocket Fighters, what?
Pocket Fighters.
Pocket Fighters is the Capcom version of a chibi Street Fighter game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good spinoff. Yeah, that's a good spinoff. Trying to think of some other good spinoffs. Sonic Racing.
Depending which Sonic Racing you're talking about, like Sonic.
I mean the ones where they're in cars, not the ones where they're on hoverboards.
Actually, two of them were good. The last one was ugh.
Yeah, I haven't played the last one. I heard that it's not as good as the first two.
Free Riders, please don't even try that.
No, I wasn't talking about the hoverboard game. I was talking about the ones where they're in cars.
That is a hoverboard game.
No, he's talking about the Sega All-Stars Racing game.
Yeah. By Sumo Digital. They're the ones who made it. Yeah. I actually like those games.
The thing is, I'm one for the Sonic Riders series, but only up to the second one. That doesn't involve the Kinect.
Yeah. That was one of the worst mistakes they ever made.
That was a franchise killer.
No, I mean Microsoft keep continuously trying to pigeonhole people with that shitty Kinect. Yeah, brah.
I was gonna say that if
Like people don't like the Kinect. Like people don't care. People don't like that console. People don't like the Kinect.
The Kinect is mostly an attachment, not a console.
Especially in regards to how it messed with their gaming. Like if the Kinect had been like
An extra?
Yeah, like
I mean it was an extra really, but in
yeah, but remember when they were like pigeonholing that shit and everything? It's like, yeah, now with the Kinect. I'm like, why? No one cares. Stop doing this, please. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a man with the plan.
Of course.
Anyone have any other free topics they want to go with?
Well, there. Yeah.
Well, I'm clear.
I do want there are two things I want to discuss, but I don't know if I should say them till like at the end of the podcast when we say our goodbyes, like pimping out our things, our latest. Oh yes, I've been hearing that Nintendo Switch are out of stock in several major retailers in Japan.
Makes sense. Console's really popular in Japan, so makes sense that people will be buying it.
Yep.
All right. Oh yeah, and Sony Computer Entertainment and Sony Network Entertainment are merging together.
Sony Entertainment and Sony what?
Computer Entertainment.
Sony Computer Entertainment and Sony Network Entertainment are merging together into one division.
Oh no! They're merging together.
When you see things doing the fusion dance, be ready to run if they're two terrible things.
This is a money thing, and don't let anyone tell you any differently. This shit's about money.
It's always about money.
We should have mentioned about this when we were talking about Sony.
People are always going to be like, no, it's something else. No, this shit's about money, son. It's always about money. And don't let anyone tell you any differently. And if they do tell you any differently, they're bullshitting you because it's always about money.
Oh yeah, and in an interview with Game Informer, Sakurai said this, and I quote, "This time I worked with the same company and same team that worked on Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Super Smash Bros. For 3DS titles, and in those titles, we were able to include quite a few fighters. So I thought, if we work a bit harder, we can make the dream of including all fighters come true. So we went for it. There will be people who might feel disappointed if fighters that appeared in a previous title are not included. I didn't want any players to feel that way, so we worked really hard to make this happen. But what I learned in that, regardless of doing our utmost, no matter how hard we tried, and no matter how many fighters we include, there will always be people who feel that way."
Yeah, but that's life. You can't please everybody. That's just life. That's just how life works. See, yeah, we have some more Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics is a spinoff of. Well, actually, Final Fantasy Tactics technically is a spinoff of Ogre Battle because the guy who made Ogre Battle 2, Let Us Cling Together, which was kind of a spinoff of the original Ogre Battle, left that company and then went for Square Enix and Squaresoft at the time and made Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, Dino Crisis. Yeah, Dino Crisis. Yeah, Dino Crisis was a spinoff, was initially a spinoff for Resident Evil, as was Onimusha. Like, Onimusha was Resident Evil in feudal Japan, basically. And if you've ever played the original Onimusha, that's basically what it is. Which doesn't bother me. I'm not like, oh my god.
Oh yes, and they're gonna add Pauline in Mario Tennis Aces.
Okay.
Yeah. Has anybody played that game?
I wanted to, but then I realized that the story mode was kind of shitty. I mean, it's there, but it's not very good. So I was like, I don't need it. Yeah, that's right. I didn't need it. I know people are going to get angry. How dare you, sir? I don't need everything. I'm okay.
Yeah. It sounds like they're adding a lot to it, so it's not.
And it's also the best-selling Mario Tennis game since Mario Power Tennis.
I guess that's good. I mean, I'm just glad Camelot Software is making some money, but I'm not like.
Hello?
Huh?
We're still here.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not like. How can I put this? Like, I mean, I like Camelot Soft. I wish they would make another RPG, whether that be a Mario sports game or another Golden Sun or something new. I just really want Camelot Software to make a new RPG. Please, God, make another RPG. Because they were good at it. Not great, but their games were different enough that they didn't feel like more of the same. But that's just me. Any other free topic anyone want to bring up before we wrap things up? Pimp out what we want to pimp out?
Oh yes, I want to pimp out one of my new articles. It's basically just for fun, where I just suggest the possibility of having Misty as one of the 5 possible DLC characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Did you say Misty?
Yeah.
From the Pokemon TV show?
Both of the games and the TV show.
Well, in the game, she was just Cerulean City's gym leader.
Yeah.
In the TV show, she was much more fleshed out. Ash's almost girlfriend, but
Kept fucking that up.
yeah, he fucked it up. I was like, yeah, I know she's older than he is, and he did steal her bike, but
I could link you guys to the article if you want.
All right.
Go to my article. All right, I posted it in the group chat.
let's see here. Let me take a look. Yeah, I could deal with Misty being a character. Either that or Brock with his eyes that he never opens.
I mean, I mean, the Piranha Plant opened many possibilities for any character from any of pre-existing Nintendo franchises to be playable. I mean, right now I'm currently thinking of the idea of having a playable Lionel as our new Zelda rep.
You want to know who would be a cool character to put in Smash Brothers as a DLC character? Although this will probably never happen.
Earthworm Jim?
No. I've already said Earthworm Jim. I've already said characters from Chrono Trigger. I'm going to go off the wall with this next one. Just as a troll, since Sakurai likes to troll people with his games, which is so fucked up. If he added Son Goku, but not Son Goku from Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, but Son Goku from
that obscure Famicom game.
From Sun. Well, there's tons of like little Sun Wukong Journey to the East games on the NES from that era, because that was like a really popular character back in the 80s in Japan.
The Nintendo version of Goku.
No, that's actually the original version of the character is the Monkey King, Journey to the West, the Monkey King. So that way, those people, I want Goku. It is. We got Goku. Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. That would be hilarious. Because you know what monkeys do when they get aggravated? They throw shit at people. And that would be a super troll character to add. It's the Monkey King, because he's got a little power pole and his little monkey tail and his little the little crown that he gets when he's tricked into helping that shitty stupid ass monk go on his journey to the West to find the Buddhist sutras. Yeah, it could totally work. But that's just me. I mean,
and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to bring up.
Okay, Joel, you got anything you want to pimp out?
No, not that I know of on the spot. But I am looking into something, or at least thinking.
Oh, okay.
At least I'm thinking of making a my 2 cents of Super Mario Odyssey.
All right.
I am near the finish of it. I could at least try to do that.
You're not quite at the finish of that game. I'm just telling you right now.
I mean, as far as the story goes,
there's still more to go.
Oh.
You're about 80% done. There. That's the only hint I can really give you.
Considering I just defeated the Brutals, I'm probably near at least 85 to 90.
No, you're 80% done, because there's still some stuff left.
Okay, I gotcha. Though still, I really gotta wonder if I'm ready to do the review for that, because
I mean, you could review it now, but here's what I'll say about Mario Odyssey. The ending is really good. Like the final boss fight is much better. Like it's like most of the boss fights up before that point are like kind of stupid. But the final boss fight against Bowser is actually really cool.
I was gonna say that I already had a 10-foot boss fight with the Dragon of the Lost Kingdom.
No, I'm telling you, the final boss fight in this game, like the only boss fight that seemed really interesting to me in the game was the one where you have to fight not Mecha Leg, that thing in New Donk City. Where Mario has to take over the tank, and he gets to shoot. That was kind of cool. But aside from that, not really. But anyway, you'll find out once you get to the end of the game and you like actually finally defeat Bowser. You're gonna be like, damn. This if you're a Mario fan, you're gonna have fun.
I believe you on that. And if anything, I have done reviews that I haven't finished the game, but had a good concept of most of the game, or at least gotten near the end. So,
all right, okay.
if anything, I will mention that beforehand.
Okay. Kenoshi, anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
No, I'm not really planning anything right now.
Okay. No review for Sunset Overdrive?
Oh, might do that. I don't know. I haven't finished the game yet.
Yeah, but you can do an early review, like first impressions type thing.
It's one of those games where I'm, where I want to do everything. And there's not a lot of games I play where I want to do everything. Usually I get through the main story, do a few of the bonus stuff, and then
you're done. Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm finished. Yeah. From what I played of it when I was at my friend's house, the game is a game that it revels in the fact that it's a game. Unlike so many games that are like, no, we're trying to tell a deeper story. They're like, this shit is stupid. Have fun. There you go. Yeah. Here, have this dick gun. Yes, it's a gun that looks like a dick. Yes.
Yeah.
And we knew that the cartridges that you use to refill it look like balls. When you put them in the gun, it makes it look like a gun with a dick and balls. That's okay. We knew this. Have fun with your dick gun. That kind of rhymed a little bit.
With the name of it, the Inferno Compensator. I mean,
yeah.
It's the first gun you get, and it's one of the best guns in the game.
Well, it sounds like Shadows of the Damned, where the main character, Nicholas Hofsper, like his main weapon is his boner. Like it's called the boner. Like, say hello to my boner. Well, it's Suda 51. So I mean, that's what Suda 51 does. All his games are kind of pervy. So this is Mr. Red Fox. This is the end of BS Busters. Thank you for joining. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. We went a little bit over, about 30 minutes over, a little bit over 30 minutes, I think, 40. But that's okay, because when you're busting bullshit, it's never too much to, take time to do it right. So I have nothing coming up. I might drop some videos in the middle of this week. I might do a first review. First impressions about Sunset Overdrive, because I got it myself on sale for like $15 off of Steam, and I was like, normally $19.99, I'll pay $15 for it. Shit, why not? So I might do first impression of that.
It's one of the best games I've played in probably years, because again, it's not ashamed of being a video game. We need more games that aren't ashamed of being video games.
Yeah, I mean, like Saints Row. That's one of the reasons I like Saints Row, because it was a video game that wasn't ashamed about being a video game. Now, they got a little too ridiculous with 4 and 3 to an extent, but I mean, they were like, yeah, it's a video game. Yes, you're driving around in a septic truck, shooting shit at houses in order to lower the property values. This is a video game, folks. You're getting points for throwing a guy off a roof and how long he stays in the air before he hits the ground. This is a video game, folks. Like good video games should, reward you for playing games. So that's the end of the podcast. Thank you for joining. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. These people here, all 3 of them, except for Pinky. I don't think, Pinky, you have a YouTube channel.
No, well, I do have a YouTube account, but I don't upload videos there.
Okay, then. So, but and I don't think Joel Ryder has a YouTube channel, but I know Kenoshi has a YouTube channel. So remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe on his channel, Kenoshi Bomanito. I think he has some good videos out a lot of the time, like 95% of the time. So remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe here. Thank you, and peace. Good night.
And
Happy holidays.